All right, let's dive into something that every music student comes across. All those Italian words scattered across your sheet music. Today, we're going to demystify them and figure out exactly what they mean.
So, you're sitting down to play, you're in the zone, and then bam, you see a word like giocoso or allargando. It can feel a little confusing, right? Like you're missing a crucial piece of the puzzle. But what if I told you it's not a puzzle, it's actually a message?
That's right. Think of these terms as a secret code sent directly from the composer to you. They're telling you how fast to play, how loud to get, and exactly what kind of feeling to put into every single note. So let's get our detective hats on because we're going to crack this code together. First up, let's talk about the speed of the music, or as it's officially called, tempo. This is basically the heartbeat of the piece. The composer uses these tempo markings to set the whole mood and pace right from the very first note.
And when it comes to speed, there's a huge range. On one end, you've got largo, which means slow and stately. Just imagine a grand royal procession. And then, on the total opposite side, you have presto, which is very, very fast. Think high energy, exciting, and full of life.
And here's another slow one. Grave. Now this isn't just slow, it's very slow and solemn. It has a real sense of weight and seriousness to it. When you see grave, you know the composer is asking for a deeply emotional and thoughtful performance.
Okay, now let's inject some energy. Vivace, or sometimes vivo, means lively and quick. This is music that should feel bubbly and full of spirit. You know, that bright, sparkling character that just makes you want to move.
But what happens when the speed changes right in the middle of a piece? Well, that's where a term like allargando comes in. It literally means to broaden. The music gets a little slower and usually a little louder, building up this amazing sense of drama. It's like the music is taking a big, important breath.
All right, so we've covered speed. Now let's move on to the next part of the code, dynamics. The easiest way to think about this is as the music's volume control. It's all about how loud or soft to play. And trust me, these changes can create some really incredible moments.
And one of the most dramatic dynamic markings has to be fortepiano, which you'll see written as FP. This is such a cool instruction. You play one note loud, that's the forte, and then instantly you switch to soft, that's the piano. It creates this incredible sudden effect that really grabs your attention. And just so you can say it like a pro, it's pronounced fortepiano. Seriously, it's one of those terms that's as fun to say as it is to play. Okay, so we have speed and we have volume. But music is so much more than that, isn't it? It's about emotion, it's about character. This next part of the code, phrasing and articulation, is where the composer tells you how to shape the notes to give them a specific personality. Think of these terms as the music's emotional toolkit. If a composer writes espressivo, they want you to play with lots of expression and feeling. Grazioso means play it gracefully. Dolce is asking for a soft and sweet sound. And my personal favorite, giocoso, means you should play it in a really fun, merry, and playful way. Now for articulation. This is all about how you attack each individual note. See this little sign? That's an accent. It's basically an exclamation point for a note. It means play this one note strongly, give it more punch than the notes around it. Next up is the tenuto mark, that little line you see above or below a note. Now this one's a bit more subtle. It means you should hold the note for its full length, giving it a bit of weight or pressure. It's not a loud accent, it's more like leaning into the note to make it feel important. And on the complete other end of the spectrum, you have staccatissimo. This little wedge means you play the note extremely short and detached. It's like a super staccato. It creates a really crisp, sharp, and bouncy sound. So, you've learned the main commands for tempo, dynamics, and character. But what if a composer wants to just tweak those instructions a little bit? Well, that's where modifiers come in. These are small but mighty words that change the meaning of the other terms they're attached to. Let's look at the three most common ones. Più simply means more. Meno means less, and molto means very. So you can combine these to get really specific instructions. For example, molto espressivo doesn't just mean expressive, it means very expressive. Let's break down a classic example.
You might see the term meno mosso. Okay, we know meno means less, and mosso basically means movement or motion. So put them together, and meno mosso is a direct order to play with less movement. In other words, get slower.
And you've probably guessed it, the opposite is true for più mosso. Più means more, so this is telling you to play with more movement or get faster. See how these little words give the composer so much control over the flow of the music? It's pretty cool.
And here is a really important one. Non troppo. It literally means not too much. You'll often see it in a phrase like allegro ma non troppo, which translates to fast but not too fast. This is all about control and restraint. The composer wants that fast energy, but they want it to be precise, not just a frantic mess.
And there you have it. Just like that, you've cracked the composer's code. Tempo sets the speed, dynamics control the volume, articulation shapes the character, and modifiers fine-tune every little detail. It's how all these things work together that turns a bunch of notes on a page into a real living story.
At the end of the day, these terms aren't just rules you have to memorize for an exam. They're the keys that unlock the composer's true intention and let you add your own voice to their music. So the real question is, now that you have the keys, what kind of story are you going to tell?